Queridos amigos, muy buenos días. Gracias por estar con nosotros en su programa Café con Leche, la voz de los latinos en América. Estamos transmitiendo desde hermosa 1470 AM 96.9 FM, caféconlecheradio.com. Les habla Lilia Galindo y el día de hoy me acompañan en una colaboración de la ciudad de Lancaster y High Desert Medical Group. Me acompaña Dennis Anderson. Dennis, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, buenos días, ¿cómo está?
Buenos días, bienvenido. Quiero que me digas a quién invitaste de High Desert Medical Group, por favor.
Sí, esta mañana estamos representando a High Desert Medical Group y nuestro sujeto es vacunación para todos.
Perfecto, la vacuna para todos. Ya es tiempo de que nos vacunemos todo el mundo. ¿A quién tenemos con nosotros, Denis?
With me today, I have Physician's Assistant James T. Wong. PA James Wong is one of our recent Physician's Assistant additions, and this means that he is a clínico como un doctor. He can do 90% of everything that any medical doctor can do, and if he can't do it, then you need a specialist.
Perfecto, very good. Bueno, tenemos con nosotros de High Desert Medical Group, James T. Wong. Él es un asistente de médico, dice Dennis Anderson, que es una persona que se acaba de incorporar y que él puede realizar 90% de las actividades de las que un médico realiza, y si no es que ya se requiere un especialista. Y el día de hoy vamos a hablar de las vacunas. Es tan importante, amigos. Hay ahora por fin, tenemos bastantes posibilidades, bastantes dosis disponibles para vacunarnos y las personas no están saliendo a vacunarse. Okay, Dennis, before we start, talk to us a little bit about the partnership with the city of Lancaster, please.
Yes, I would say this has been one of the important social developments. We're serving our communities in the Antelope Valley. It was about 6 weeks ago that Mayor Rex Paris called our administrator at High Desert Medical Group, Rafael Gonzalez, and the two of them had a conversation. And the first part of the conversation is, can you help us to get several thousand vaccinations a week? And Rafael Gonzalez said, this is the opportunity that we have been hoping for. And so, yes, how can we help you? So that was the beginning of our, we have a good partnership with the city in any event, but this was the beginning of a formal contract to assist the city at the Antelope Valley Fairgrounds, where we are now located.
Perfecto. Dice que aproximadamente hace 4 semanas el alcalde de la ciudad de Lancaster, Mayor Rex Paris, decidió llamar a la administración de High Desert Medical Group. Habló con Rafael González, que es la más alta autoridad en el High Desert Medical Group, y se estableció una sociedad en donde van a trabajar conjuntamente. Se habló de tener 1,000 dosis a la semana para poder vacunar a la comunidad de Lancaster específicamente, y bueno, están trabajando en eso a través de un contrato. That is really good. Okay, establecieron el sitio de vacunación allá en la feria, como ustedes saben, donde Kaiser Permanente tiene uno y High Desert Medical Group tiene otro. Así es que now we have really the possibility to get the vaccine. However, so many people still doesn't want to do it. What do you tell them, Mr. Wong?
I would say that all the vaccines are very safe. That includes the J&J, the Pfizer, and the Moderna. And the most important part that I think that most patients should understand is that it's much easier to treat the side effects rather than treat COVID-19 itself. So I do encourage all the people listening to try to get their vaccines as soon as possible.
That is a great point. Él está diciendo que hay disponibilidad de vacunas y que se deben de vacunar porque dice, es mucho más difícil, es mucho más fácil tratarlo por los efectos secundarios que tenga de una vacuna. Dice, estamos hablando de Johnson & Johnson, de Moderna y de Pfizer. mucho más fácil tratarlo porque tenga una reacción a alguna de esas medicinas que si va a tener la enfermedad y entonces se pone en un grado muy, muy difícil. Así es que dice, los invita a todos a que se vacunen de inmediato. Dennis, I'm going to ask you something. If you see that I forget something, just help me with the translation too, please.
Very well.
Thank you so much. Well, and do you know, some people already got the first doses, but they don't go to the second one. What happened in those cases?
Well, we do encourage all the people that have gotten the first dose to get the second dose in order to get the maximum efficacy of the vaccine. Obviously, one dose is better than none, but with the second dose of the vaccine, especially for the Pfizer and Moderna, it can increase the efficacy of the vaccine itself up to over 90%. So if we look at it from a larger perspective, it's not so much that if you're looking at 100 people, 5 people will get sick from COVID. It's more based on an individual basis where you yourself are 95% chance less likely to develop or get the infection, as well as be able to fight off the infection if you were to ever get it.
Algunas de las personas no están yendo por su segunda dosis. Dice, yo les recomiendo que se vacunen totalmente porque les va a dar una mayor protección, muchísima mayor protección, dice hasta 90% de protección si está totalmente vacunado. Si no, solamente tiene una protección parcial que no le va a, bueno, no le va a cubrir lo que debe cubrir. Y esto ya es muy fácil obtenerlo. Pues mira, a ver, tenemos una pregunta. Okay. Bueno, así es que, ¿qué me faltó, Dennis? Did I miss something?
No, I think you got it perfectamente.
Perfect.
The thing that I would like to add is the reason for obtaining your vaccinations is to have the life that is much more like the life that we were leading before January 2020. You know, Lilia, I was able to travel to Texas last month to reunite with my veteran brothers and sisters. And this week I'm traveling to visit with my family. I have not seen my little grandson, who's now 5 years old. I haven't seen him in more than a year. And now when we see each other, because his parents have had their vaccinations and my wife, Julia, and I have had our vaccinations, we can hug our grandchild. This is very important. This is important for everyone.
Bueno, amigos, miren, nos está diciendo Dennis que él tuvo la oportunidad ya de viajar a Texas el mes pasado, gracias a que ya estaba totalmente protegido por sus vacunas y pudo ir a obtener un reconocimiento de los veteranos en Texas. Pero obviamente si uno no se vacuna, esto va a ser imposible. Quiere decir que una vez que estamos vacunados podemos volver a nuestras actividades comunes y corrientes. Dennis, do you still use your cover mouth and all that kind of things?
Yes,
when you went to
Texas? I travel, and when I travel, they have a requirement that you use a mask on the airplane or that you use a mask on the plane. And this is just good sense because this is how we protect each other. You know, when I was traveling on the train day before yesterday, they had a guy who would not put a mask on, and they ejected him from the train in Santa Barbara. The police had to escort him off because he was not being sensible. And so we still have our precautions, and the precautions are good sense. But if you have the vacuna, you can be with your family and not be in fear that a family reunion is going to cause an infection and possibly a death. That's why vaccination is very important.
Bueno, le preguntabas yo si todavía se va a requerir usar, si él cuando fue a su viaje todavía tuvo que usar la máscara. Dice, sí, lo hago por protección mía y protección de los demás, aun cuando él ya tiene las vacunas. Y además es un requerimiento de las líneas aéreas que tienes que usar máscara. Y si no, lo que pasa es que están desalojando a la gente que no se quiere, no quiere adoptar las políticas de las compañías aéreas. eh, no quiere adoptar las compañías están rechazando y removiendo de los aviones a quien no quieren adoptar las policies. Did they ask you for your vaccine certification or not?
No, not yet. But I think the time will come when people want to travel internationally, when that will be very important. So I have a question for my colleague, James T. Wong, about the safety and the research that was involved in these vaccinations, and why are they so safe? James, why are the vaccinations safe?
Well, I guess the common misconception is that these mRNA vaccines are fairly new, but if you look back, it was actually the building blocks for the research actually began in the 1960s, and it's only recently come forth and given the opportunity to kind of excel. The reason why it's so safe is because we're not actually giving you DNA. There is that misconception that the mRNA vaccine can change your DNA. There's nothing like that at all. The mRNA vaccine is safe because it gives your body the specific recipe to build this protein that the virus has, and it builds up your immune system before you ever get infected, so that if you ever encounter the virus in the future, rather than being hospitalized, your body will take it more as if it's a common cold.
That is really good. Le estaba preguntando a Dennis Anderson que nos dijera de la seguridad que tiene uno con la vacuna, o sea que no es, se han hecho muchos rumores y no, definitivamente dice que las vacunas hechas con mRNA, desde 1960 se empezaron a trabajar con ellas y este tipo de vacunas no te va a cambiar tu DNA, como se han dicho en algunos rumores. Estas vacunas le enseñan a tu cuerpo a pelear el virus del el coronavirus, le enseñan a pelearlo, a identificarlo, a pelearlo, para que de tal manera que reacciones tu cuerpo solamente como si fuera un resfriado. Así es que es una vacuna segura y tenemos que aplicárnoslas todas. Okay. Still, some people don't want to vaccinate. I know somebody who said, I never take any medicine. I never take any vaccine. Just when I was a little girl, but nobody asked me. But I don't take any kind of medicine or vaccines. What do you tell them to that people why they should?
Well, I think it's important that everyone take the vaccine because the sooner we get more people vaccinated, basically COVID will be defanged and be less dangerous because there will be less time for COVID to be around and mutate. So if it's important for everyone to get back to a sense of normalcy, I think we really need to do a better job of trying to get as many people vaccinated as possible and to flatten the curve so that COVID itself doesn't have time to mutate and to develop into new strains because, as you know, we've already got about 5 different strains and variants of COVID. And the faster we get people vaccinated, the faster these strains will go away.
Okay. Es importante que todo el mundo se vacune. Le preguntaba de los que no se quieren vacunar porque nunca se han vacunado. Dice, entre más pronto nos vacunemos todos, pues no vamos a permitir que ninguna variación del virus salga adelante, pero tenemos que lograr la inmunidad de toda la comunidad y entre más pronto lo hagamos, pues no vamos a permitir que esas variantes del virus sigan avanzando y creando tantos problemas. We are going to take a break and we will be back.
I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time?
We are going to take a break, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Her WhatsApp is her daughter's WhatsApp. She doesn't have WhatsApp.
Oh, okay.
So she's asking, are you going to call through FaceTime or regular call? Because if you're going to call through WhatsApp, it's not her WhatsApp, it's her daughter's. Does she just have WhatsApp on her phone?
Whatever she prefers. Though.
¿Te digo? No. Oh, sí. No te dice, dice, ¿cómo prefiere usted que decirle no? Dice que sí, sí se lo sigue, como usted guste. Yo le voy a hacer su celular y lo va a poner a la mano.
The volume inside.
Sí, sí sabe, ella sabe que es su teléfono celular.
Y también aceptan visitas sin cita. Solo traiga cualquier tipo de identificación. Si necesitan transporte, ABTA lo ofrece gratis. La vacuna es la clave para volver a muchas de nuestras actividades diarias. Todos podemos hacer nuestra parte y vacunarnos. Reciba más información en cityoflancasterca.org /vaccine. Gracias a nuestros patrocinadores, High Desert Medical Group, Kaiser Permanente, y Antelope Valley Hospital. The COVID-19 vaccine is available to anyone over the age of 18 at the AV Fairgrounds. The AV Fairgrounds vaccination sites are offering same-day appointments and are taking walk-ins. Free transportation is provided by the AVTA. The vaccine is key to returning to many of our day-to-day activities. We can each do our part and get vaccinated. Schedule your appointment at www.cityoflancasterca.org/vaccine. Mayor Rex Paris and the City Council have worked hard to bring not only one, but 2 vaccination sites to Lancaster. Thank you to our partners, High Desert Medical Group, Kaiser Permanente, and the Antelope Valley Hospital.
Queridos amigos, muy buenos días. Gracias por estar con nosotros en su programa Café con Leche, la voz de los latinos en América. Dennis, do you want to ask something? But I was wondering, what if you don't have transportation to go to the fair? Because the vaccines are given them at the fair, no? At the fairgrounds?
Yeah, James, Juan, do you know anything about the transportation arrangements?
I actually don't know the transportation arrangements currently.
That's okay. I do know that if you're making your appointment, you should be able to arrange Antelope Valley Transportation Agency bus through City of Lancaster. You can also arrange through Access transportation to the fairground site. Also, if you're a High Desert Medical Group patient and you need transportation, somehow we're going to make an arrangement that will get you where you need to go to get your vaccine. So there's a lot of different ways to do it.
Le preguntaba yo si sabían algo, si se iba a proporcionar transporte para todas aquellas personas que no pueden ir hasta la feria porque no tienen transporte, y afortunadamente sí hay una coordinación con ABTA, Antelope Valley Transit Agency. La agencia de transporte aquí del Valle del Antílope está colaborando con la ciudad de Lancaster y con High Desert Medical Group para proporcionarle. También, si es usted miembro de High Desert Medical Group, puede hablar y hacer su cita ahí y pedir que le den transporte, que le informen cómo conseguir transporte. La ciudad de Lancaster también pueden llamar. En todos lados se están dando. Now, since there are too many doses and not enough people, can somebody walk in and go or not? Do you know if that is possible?
Yes, we have had people coming in for just walk-in appointments, and we have been taking those as well.
Very good. La ventaja es que también pueden ir simplemente sin hacer cita, y dice, los hemos estado recibiendo y les hemos dado su vacuna. Así es que no esperemos más, amigos. Otra cosa, then are you applying vaccines in High Desert Medical Group too, or just at the fair?
So we are actually doing vaccinations at High Desert Medical Group, but for the most part, those are for the High Desert Medical members. Whereas at AV Fairgrounds, we're servicing everyone and anyone
Oh, excelente. Bueno, le estaba yo
Yeah,
preguntando.
Lilia,
Yes.
I would also like to talk about for a moment the importance of generations. I heard on the advertisement with City of Lancaster a moment ago that everyone down to the age of 18, and I do believe pretty soon it's going to be down to the age of 16, will be able to get vaccination by appointment or by walk-in.
Yep. So actually, we're actually going to be dispensing the Pfizer vaccine alongside with the help of Antelope Valley Hospital on Thursday and Friday. So anyone 16 and older can actually get the Pfizer vaccine.
Today? Yeah.
Yes, today as well as next
Next week?
Thursday and Friday. Mm-hmm.
Ok. Así es que estamos hablando de la vacuna. Le estaba yo preguntando si la aplican ahí en High Desert Medical Group o hay que ir a la feria, a los terrenos de la feria. Dice, bueno, nosotros aplicamos la vacuna para los miembros en High Desert Medical Group, pero para asistir a toda la comunidad tiene que ir a la feria y se coordinan a todos. Y me estaba diciendo Denis que la vacuna, dice, lo que oyó es que la vacuna se está aplicando a mayores de 18, pero ya también en un esfuerzo de High Desert Medical Group, la ciudad de Lancaster y Kaiser Permanente están aplicando los jueves, el día de hoy, jueves y viernes, están aplicando vacuna a jóvenes de 16 a 18 años para que también tomen la oportunidad y es tiempo. We want to go back to normality, but if we don't do what we have to do, we are never going to reach. Do you know, I just want to comment about India. 3 weeks ago, or 4 weeks ago, I can remember I saw a TV program in which they were discussing how come India doesn't have so many cases, and this is such a big population. And they were saying, well, because people there is very young, the average is like 23 years old or something like that. This is why. And then now we are seeing a big crisis in India. What happened there, Mr. Wong?
I think with the Indian officials, they didn't take the virus too seriously. Some of it has to do with the politicization of the virus itself.
Mm-hmm.
And other times, younger people just feel like, they're immune to it and there's nothing really to worry about. But I think the most important thing to note here is that even though the younger generation is much more resilient in terms of dealing with the COVID virus, they live with their older family members, and other family members may have comorbidities that may make them more susceptible to the COVID virus. So even though the younger generation does normally much better in dealing with COVID, a lot of times they may spread it to family members or loved ones.
No, so sad. Le estaba yo preguntando qué es lo que pasó en India, que hace unas semanas veía yo que ellos no tenían el problema porque era una población muy joven. Dice, sí, efectivamente, India se descuidó totalmente, no siguieron ya las precauciones debido a que incluso se ha politizado este virus. Y dice, eso ha hecho que muchos jóvenes crean que no se descuidan, y aunque son más resistentes todos los jóvenes, de todos modos ellos pueden ser el conductor del virus a personas más grandes que van a fallecer, y es lo que está pasando en la India. Así es que tenemos que protegernos todos para que ya podamos volver a la normalidad. Some people already can go back and deal with family and friends inside of the house if you are vaccinated or something like that, no?
Yes, Lilia, and I want to add that when I was out at the fairground watching them do vaccinations at High Desert Medical Group, I was so inspired to see a grandmother bringing in her 18-year-old grandson. I was so inspired to see a 45-year-old father bringing in his 18-year-old daughter. It's very important. So if we get the vaccination into multi-generational homes where people live and work together, we can save lives. And that's the reason that Los Angeles County has had such success in the last few weeks.
And the families can be together again. So nice. You can visit your grandparents and everything. Dice Dennis que él estuvo en la feria, ahí en los terrenos de la feria donde se aplican las vacunas, y que se sintió inspirado porque vio a varias personas, adultos mayores, llevando a sus familiares jóvenes para que también ya se vacunen y entonces se puede extender la protección a toda la familia. Pero, but you know, it's not only your family, it's your community too. I hear a politician that say, who cares if you already have your vaccine? Who cares if your neighbor has it? I care because I know that he could die, and I don't want that because he's my neighbor. And I care because I think that everybody has a responsibility with everybody else of take care of ourselves, no? Of them and
Yes,
ourselves.
that politician was being political, not responsible. Responsibility and care is to take care of your family, to take care of your community.
Perfecto. Hablamos de políticos que dicen que a mí qué me importa si yo ya me vacuné, qué me importa si mi vecino, pero you know, the people who is not going to get vaccine is the people who is in risk of dying with COVID. That is
correct. You know, and with 150 million doses, there have only been 35 people who have had a lethal reaction after the vaccination. The 35 out of 150 million, and those, they don't know if that was the vaccination or another cause. But, you know, if you get a case of COVID, you're down to 1 in 100. So bet on the vaccination, not the virus.
Fíjense, se han aplicado 150 millones de vacunas y solamente se han presentado 35 casos que han sido letales o mortales. En cambio, si uno se enferma del virus de COVID, va a tener la posibilidad de morir 1 de cada 100. Y lo vemos con las cifras de las personas que han muerto, más de 500,000 de personas, casi alcanzando ahora los 600,000 aquí en los Estados Unidos. No queremos más muertos. It's time to go back to get the vaccine. Well, time is gone. Thank you so much for being with us. It was a pleasure, Mr. Wong, James T. Wong. Hasta la, do you speak any other language?
I speak Cantonese, yes.
Say something in Cantonese to impress me, please.
Dosan. That just means good morning.
Oh, very good, very good. I will try to learn. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure
Thank you for having us.
to talk to you. Dennis, thank you for helping always. Thank you. Bye.
Always
All
a
right,
privilege.
take care.
Hasta la
Bye-bye
vista,
now.
babies.
Hasta la
Bye.
vista.